Boy, oh boy, that Stuckman controversy is getting bigger and bigger, isn't it? Please stop. Please stop. You're hurting my film bro heart. Just please stop. It's completely unwarranted controversy. It's his channel. He can talk about whatever the fuck he wants. Plus, he made this transition very clear 2 years ago at this point. And plus, he still continues to negatively criticize movies that he likes. He just doesn't rage out about it as much anymore. See, I was gonna make a whole video on that topic, and then I decided it's just not even worth it. Everybody else is already doing it. A couple YouTubers like Cody Leach and Sean Chandler and Drum Dums have already made videos that I think express my perspective on the situation pretty well, particularly Sean Chandler and Drum Dums. So I've decided not to make a video on it. Why am I talking about it in this video, which is a review of American Fiction? I have no idea. Anyway guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing well, and today we are going to be reviewing the film American Fiction, directed by Cord Jefferson and based on the novel Erasure by, I know I'm gonna mispronounce this, Percival Everett. This is yet another video in my series of videos that I'm doing in which I review every single film that has been nominated for Best Picture at this year's Oscars. I kicked off this series with my review of The Holdovers, which you can check out right up there. Please go check it out. I had a great time making that video. Real quick before we get into it, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and also turn on bell notifications so you get notified every time I upload new content. Also, please, if you would like, check out my podcast, the Headspace Podcast, now available on all major podcast streaming platforms, namely Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So American Fiction tells the story of a novelist who's fed up with the establishment profiting from black entertainment and uses a pen name to write a book that propels him into the heart of the hypocrisy and madness he claims to disdain. So I really didn't have many expectations going into this movie. I knew that I loved Jeffrey Wright, one of my favorite performances of his having been relatively recent in the world of cinema with The Batman, but truthfully, I had no idea that this movie existed until the Oscar nominations came out and I saw that it was nominated for a good amount of stuff, which is kind of sad, given the message of the film. So while there weren't many things influencing my expectations of this movie, the expectations that I did have were pretty sky high given the Oscar buzz. However, going into it, I did try to keep those expectations relatively at bay as to not let myself down. As always, we're gonna kick it off with the negatives because I always prefer to end on a positive note when it comes to film and filmmaking, so let's get into it. I do feel that the pacing in this film sometimes does suffer due to screen time dedicated to plot points that are certainly essential to the characters and why they are the way they are, but aren't as interesting as the main plot of the film and are kind of, I guess, unintentionally overshadowed by the main plot of the film. I think the writers may have underestimated just how intriguing and how investing the main plot of the film already is. Also, this film is a dramedy, a drama comedy. I don't know why I felt the need to specify that. I'm sure you all know what a dramedy is. Why did I feel the need to do that? Xavier, shut the fuck up, you're rambling and you're padding the runtime of this video that nobody wants to watch anyway. With the fact that this film is a dramedy, I do feel that sometimes it struggles with balancing the tones evenly enough between drama and comedy. There's massive tone switches within the film. Sometimes you don't exactly know how to feel, and sometimes it does feel just a little bit jarring going back and forth between the two. Other than those two things, I pretty much loved everything else about this film. The entire cast here is absolutely incredible. They knock it out of the park, and of course, Jeffrey Wright is once again the standout. The opening scene in particular does a very good job at communicating to us the type of character he is and the type of person we're going to be following throughout this film, and also, as it so brilliantly satirizes in that opening scene, alienates likely a large demographic of the audience, which I found quite brave. And that brings me to the comedy aspects of the film, because as I said, this film is a comedy, and in that regard, I think this is one of the best comedies that I've seen in years. The jokes are very clear and obvious, but also quite clever, which I think is a testament to genuinely how well written this screenplay is. It manages to ride the line of funny and offensive pretty well, I would say, and I'm sure certain audience members would be very turned off by a lot of the jokes in this movie that are directly taking shots at them. which I love. It makes a lot of jokes like that, namely, as I said, aimed at the types of people that this movie is criticizing, and if those people don't like this movie, then they're never gonna get the point. The film, as I mentioned, also has quite a bit of drama, and I think it makes for some of the most emotionally impactful scenes in the film. The film is also extremely entertaining for the most part, which I feel is particularly impressive because this film, like The Holdovers, is really just a bunch of conversations between characters. The way Jeffrey Wright portrays this alter ego of his that he has to don when he decides to write under this pen name, I think made for some of the most hilarious scenes in the film and out of any comedy that I've seen in a very, very long time. And it also did a very good job at parodying typical Hollywood stereotypes. Damn, why is that actually such a hard word to say? Parodying. It sounds weird when, you know, when you look in a mirror and you say your name over and over again to the point where it doesn't even sound like it makes sense, like it doesn't even sound like a word, it just sounds like gibberish. Xavier. I also found the characters in this film to be incredibly nuanced, which is all too rare in modern day cinema, and it also manages to not ever feel too preachy despite its messages. It manages to criticize how the entertainment industry oppresses the black community under the facade of lifting them up, sort of under this disguise of no, we are giving you a voice. But are you really? Because you're kind of forcing them or pressuring them to tell certain kinds of stories rather than other kinds of stories. I'm not going to get into it too much here because I don't really want to spark any debates in the comment section, but it's essentially that conceptual debate of, well, for example, for something that I can relate to, where it's like, why does every gay love story we see on screen have to be so sad and so painful? Like, don't get me wrong, Brokeback Mountain is a great movie, but it would be nice every now and then to just have a normal run-of-the-mill cliched rom-com that just so happens to have a gay couple in it, you know what I mean? Similarly to how I've watched a lot of black creators over the years who have communicated a little disheartenment with the fact that it seems like every major big-budget film centered around black characters seems to focus on the struggles and the oppression of black people in America, namely. Those are the type of discussions that this movie has on its mind, and I actually think it does a pretty good job at communicating both sides of the spectrum there, while still maintaining a message of empathy for other people whose struggles you may not actually be able to relate to, which I think is invaluable in today's political environment. The film is also shot incredibly well, which I think is a factor that not enough people pay attention to when it comes to comedies, because this film on a technical level is masterfully crafted. The production design feels completely authentic, the cinematography at points is breathtaking, and the sound design is also very well done. I mean, people really don't tend to acknowledge these things as much when it comes to comedies. So in conclusion, American Fiction is a very entertaining dramedy with nuanced characters, clever humor and commentary, and an extremely good message that I think Hollywood really needs to hear right now. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Be sure to let me know what you thought of American Fiction down in the comment section. Just make sure you keep it respectful. Once again, be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you want to, and if you want to go the extra mile, turn on those bell notifications so you get notified every time I upload. Guys, once again, thank you so much as always for watching. I will see you in the next video. Look forward to more videos very soon, and until then, keep writing, keep shooting, and keep editing.